Welcome to our instructional tape number 3, entitled Sticks, Tricks, and Other Useful Bits. Now don't be put off by the title, because there's a reason for it. Have you ever gone to a tournament or a demonstration where you've seen someone do some martial arts techniques that just dazzled you? Or if they didn't dazzle you, there were techniques that you said, boy, that was so effective or so efficient or so impressive that you wanted to take it immediately and make it part of your personal fighting arsenal. Only problem is you don't have time to meet up with the person or hook up with them later. It's not in any book that you can find, and it's not on any video that you can find or afford. So we've got the solution to that problem right here. We're going to take about 20 or 30 tricks and useful bits that we found during our martial arts experience, and we're putting them on this tape so that you can take them bit by bit, one at a time, or in multiples, or any way you want, and make them part of how you fight, part of your self-defense arsenal. So in today's tape, we'll be going over the short stick techniques, which exist in several styles. We're actually going to take about 18 to 20 minutes of visual time doing the short stick techniques so that you'll get a full course in the basic strikes and joint lock techniques of short stick. We'll go on from there to middle stick techniques. Sometimes people refer to the middle stick as the Arnis weapon or the Eskrima weapon. However you refer to it is fine. We'll talk about some of the finer techniques out of Eskrima. We'll go into handkerchief techniques that you've probably never seen before but have heard about. We'll take a look at those. We'll look at some knife techniques, knife defenses. Then we'll go into the cane briefly and move on to the bow. So gear up, come on into our class, join our dojo, get ready for a good informative workout. Our first learning segment is the short stick, but we're going to take just a moment or two and introduce you to what the short stick looks like and what it's about. That's so when you have an opportunity, you can go to your nearest hardware store, pick up the materials and make one of your own, rather than go out and spending $8 or $9 for one at some martial arts supply store. It's just as easy to make your own, and if it's easy enough to make your own and if it's inexpensive, I recommend doing that. It's a good solid 12 inches long. Now I'm going to ask the cameraman zoom in a little bit on me if you can. It's a solid 12 inches long, and it's basically hardwood doweling, preferably oak doweling if you can find some, and I prefer about 1 inch wide. Now some people like it a little bit less wide than that. Some people prefer 3/4 inches. I'll leave it to you and your natural preference. You know, however you prefer to have it for yourself is the way you should do it. Okay, now this one is an actual fighting weapon, but I'm going to show you one that Chris made for himself that was right out of hardware store stock. And if you look at this, it's a good clean piece of oak, and in all practical respects it's nearly identical to the one that I have, and just as solid. So go to your hardware store, they sell this in 4-foot lengths, and for a few extra cents you can have the person working at the hardware store cut off the 4 sections for you for your personal use. Okay? Second thing is, when you're working the short stick techniques and you might have some concerns for personal safety, then your instincts are right on, okay? Because personal safety always is first and foremost when you're practicing any weapons techniques. 2 things we want you to be aware of: that you should protect your eyes at all times, and what we found to be useful in our group is safety glasses. Now these safety glasses are standard industrial type safety glasses, okay? There's nothing expensive about them. Same as with the sticks, you can get the safety glasses at any hardware store. They're $1 or $2 a piece, and these are adequate to protect your eyes from casual impact. Okay, but if you want to buy the more expensive ones at the optical stores, that's fine. You know, you get what you pay for. The more you spend, the better it will be. If you just set those down on the ground, we'll be using those immediately. Last point is, if you want to make a practice stick, now see the difference here is that this is a padded stick and this is a solid piece of wood. If you're doing techniques where you're making contact with your partners, and you'll see us doing that later on in the tape, eventually you'll want to make a padded stick for yourself. Same deal, you really can't buy these anywhere. We go to a hardware store, we buy plumber's PVC tubing, piping, and we cut it in 12-inch lengths, then we put pipe insulation on the outside of it, and there's several types of pipe insulation. You can experiment, see which one you like. and then we wrap the entire unit tightly with duct tape, and it becomes a permanent practice stick. So, bear note of that, and as you're going into the aspect of making your own weapons, think about making a practice weapon for yourself also. Sir, just zip it off to the side. First section, you'll want to learn the 8 basic strikes using the short stick. Now I'm going to run through them one time, let you see what they look like, and then we'll talk in a little bit more detail about them as you attempt to replicate what we're doing out there in the living room. First strike is to the head. Second strike, side of head, to the right side. Third strike, opposite side of head. Fourth strike, down. Fifth strike, over the top. Sixth strike, low from the outside. Seventh strike, low from the inside. Eighth strike, straighten it. Okay, that's called the 8-strike pattern. Now, Chris, if you'll count them back, coming back at me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now I'm going to demonstrate something about the sticks that's important for you to see. If you'll stand right here, Chris, and if you'll hold your stick in 2 hands. There's 2 ways of striking with a short stick, and we call one way the dead hand and the second way the live hand. Dead hand is when you have a closed fist and you're sort of using it like a club. Now when you strike with a dead hand, almost all of your energy is going to the surface of whatever it is that you're striking. The live hand strike is a whipping kind of motion, whipping type of motion, but look how my hand operates to whip the stick. Okay? Look closely here, focus in if you will. See how the fingers snap and I focus my energy pointing with my forefinger? Okay, you can sort of see the whipping action. Now notice the difference. This is a dead hand, this is a live hand. You can hear the cracking and the penetration versus the dead hand. So when you're doing the 8-strike pattern, you'll be using the live hand throughout. Now I'm going to ask that Chris, Sensei Chris, assist me once again from this angle as I step in. Observe one more time. And I want you to do this with me at home, okay? Because we're going to do each strike 5 times. And this is the way you should practice when you're by yourself to perfect the techniques. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, from the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. High. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Low outside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Low inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And straight in, following from a block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, you can step back here, sir. When you finally get the 8 strikes to where you're comfortable doing them in succession, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You'll begin to notice and feel as though you're doing a kata. You'll notice that it becomes a kata in your way of thinking, and that's how you want to practice it from here on out. So, before we go on to the next segment, here's the kata, here's how you should practice it.